So just a little bit about kind of the work that OCOW has been doing. So we began our initial outreach by reaching out to workers who were previously registered with OCOW as one of the workers who worked um, on the RB4 project. And so really the purpose of these calls is to gather updated information on health issues experienced by workers, and then also to gather updated information on any workers' compensation claims made to the WSIB and the outcome of those claims. So the goals of these phone calls are really twofold. So gathering the updated information on health issues will allow for research into any potential connections between the health issues experienced by the workers and workplace exposures in Dryden. And the second goal is for gathering updated information on workers' compensation claims would enable OCOW to see if there's further work we can do to support an appeal for denied claims. Both of these steps are important because we expect that the WSIB will likely be considering new claims from RB4 workers, as well as it's likely that the WSIB will be reviewing and reconsidering occupational disease claims from RB4 workers that were denied in the past. So, a progress on our calls and our surveys. So, to date, we have spoken to 63 workers, either through direct phone calls or engagement with the online survey. So, this online survey you can find on the OCOW website. So, I'll just pause here a second and I'll include the link in the chat for anyone who has not been able to see that survey. So, I'll just include that link. And I'll also include the link to OCOW's Dryden cluster investigation. So I'll just quickly copy that and paste it over here. So while 63 individuals is a significant number, it does represent a small minority of the workers who are actually working on the project, which is why we encourage, if you haven't done so, to either fill out the survey or to reach out to me over the phone for an intake. So I'll also pause right now and I'll just include the phone number where I can be reached at if anyone on this call has not had an opportunity to do an intake. So for mailings, as some of you may know, a few months ago, OCOW sent out a mailing to workers, which explained the beginning of this cluster investigation. So OCOW sent out approximately 360 mailings. To date, we have received 84 mailings back. This is also significant because it does represent a certain amount of workers that we have not been able to get in contact with. And so this is also why phoning in or completing that online survey is even more important, either for yourself or, passing on that information to any worker that you may be in touch with. So a little recap on the reported health effects. To date, based on the 64 people we have been able to get in touch with, there have been 104 unique and different health effects. I will make a note, though, that the vast majority of these unique health effects were only reported by one or two individuals. However, there were numerous health effects that were consistent across many of the workers. Now, the most prevalent health concern that came out was related to memory loss. The second were issues and concerns relating to breathing issues and shortness of breath. The third most prevalent one was the occurrence of cancers. And then some of the other more consistent health concerns were related to feelings of exhaustion and fatigue, gastrointestinal problems, muscle and joint pains, COPD, and sleeping disorders. But as a note to workers here tonight and those attending future town halls, we do encourage everyone, even if these health experiences that I just mentioned right now are not symptoms that you have experienced, because these are just some of the many that we've made note of, to phone in or fill out that survey. At this preliminary stage, we're just conducting information gathering and conducting that research to connect these symptoms to the exposures happens at a later date. Therefore, at this point, we're really just concerned with having an updated and comprehensive understanding of different health concerns. So those are the updates that I had, and I'll just repass the mic back to Dave, and he'll just provide an overview of the path moving forward.
Okay, thanks, Neria. So yeah, that's actually a very good summary. That once we've collected as much as we can reasonably get during a round of outreach to folks who were involved, then we're going to take a step back, assess everything that's been reported to us, review claim files from people who filed claims in the past, see how the board was assessing those, look at all that in the light of the Ministry of Labor documents that the committee has got its hand on, and seek input from experts in toxicology, neuropsychology, to see what, if anything, we can do. So, and I would hasten to point out that we have to approach this with a proper frame of mind as an investigation, right? And it may be the case that some of the symptoms that people think were related to that particular project, there's not a lot of support for that. It may be something that came on during that project, but not necessarily a direct relationship to those exposures. As in our work with the miners, the McIntyre Powder Project, though, we're looking at the whole career of folks ultimately, so that when you come in, when you do the questionnaire, we're going to establish an OHCOW file for everybody who's getting in touch with us, and there will be reviews of all those individual cases down the line. So I used to work for the Building Trades Workers Services doing comp claims, not disease claims, for workers in the trades. Just as with the miners, we're going to take on whatever issues come up, whether or not there's a conclusion that it's specifically related to that Dryden project, but it may be related to 30 years working as an electrician, that sort of thing. So we're on the lookout for all of those things going forward. But right now, the most important part of us being able to get a grasp on the situation and to organize some work to go forward in a reasonably, I can't say speedy way. It's going to take forever, especially given that we don't have special project funding from the government for this right now. So these are all being taken in as new cases within OHCOW's existing framework for the time being. But that just makes it more important that we organize things as a group, that we're able to take a step back, look at people who have common diagnoses, and to work on those cases together so that we can move them forward without things getting bogged down and just defeated by the passage of time. So please encourage anybody that you know who has not been in touch with us yet to go to the website to answer the questionnaire, to call in if they need assistance with that. We want to collect all the information from people about their symptoms, about their work in the trades, get copies of WSIB decisions that have been issued where claims have been filed, get copies of the full claim files. We send out the forms to folks to sign to have a copy of the file given to us directly, so that can all be looked at by occupational health nurses and hygienists and the experts that we want to bring in, and docs, so that we can hopefully get a handle on how to approach this going forward. So again, I can't give a sort of a plan of attack that we have, because right now our plan of attack is gather as much information as possible, and so that it can be brought in for analysis by the professionals in those fields. And then we'll be back here hopefully in a few months to be able to say, okay, here are the particular issues that we're going to be looking at first and proceeding with. If you go look at any of our other cluster investigation pages on the website, you'll see the sorts of things that we do in terms of producing generic reports on issues that are common to a number of workers, whether that's a diagnosis or it might be an explanation of exposures occurring during the course of the project, that sort of thing. But in order to even be able to plan which of those sorts of things we need to put our resources into, we need to get as much information as possible up front, so that can be looked at and discussed and analyzed, and come up with a reasonable plan for moving ahead. So please get the word out to anybody that may not have been in touch with us, and that's the most important thing at the current moment.